Okay, go.
Hi there, my name is Michael Dunn. I'm the chef with the Yankee Pier restaurant here in Lafayette. One of the things that we take pride in is that we handpick all of our own crab meat. And today I'm going to show you how to clean a Dungeness crab. So basically what we have here is a cooked Dungeness crab. And how we start is you're going to pull the top off. It actually pulls off really easy. You can just take it from the sides and pull it off as such. We like to keep everything on ice. It just helps keep the freshness of the crab at all times. And then what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to clean this out. You can actually save some of this and make stocks and stuff. It's really good for it. What I'm going to do now, I'm just going to run it under a little water. Really light amount of water. You don't want to damage the crab meat. But it'll kind of clean the guts out, and it'll also give you a nice pearly white crab. I like to clean them as soon as they're full because then you don't get any discoloration with the knuckle meat. So basically you're going to start with this as your product. What I like to do is I'll just break the crab in half. I'll pull the legs off as such. It's really pretty easy to do it. I like to wear gloves. Just makes it a little cleaner for you. What I like to do is I like to clean the knuckles and the claws and legs separate, because I find that you tend to get a little more shells with the knuckles while you're cleaning it. So it's a little easier to go and to pick through and to make sure you don't have any shells in the meat. The legs are a little simpler to clean. You have less crab parts, so it's a little less extra work to have to go through and re-pick open the crab when you do it. So once we get to this stage, the knuckles, basically they're portioned off into 4 things. So what you can do is you can just kind of open them up, and I'll use a fork. And again, I always keep everything on ice. It just keeps it more fresh. And then with the fork, you can just pull these little segments out. And the nice thing is that if you cook the crab correctly, the meat comes right out. And you can just take these little filaments out as you're going along. You kind of break them up. It opens up all the crab meat. And it's really easy just to flake this out. You can use a toothpick if you'd like. Some people like to use the end of the actual crab legs to do it. I just use the crab fork. I find it kind of keeps it a little cleaner, and there's less meat for me, or less shells for me to have to go and pick back through. If you can see how clean it'll come out. You just go through this process. You make sure you want to get every little piece out. And then what we do, after we clean it separate, is, we can use a little bit of the knuckle meat and the leg meat for each salad, so you're not necessarily getting all one particular type of meat. Again, just breaking it open and just flaking the meat out. You pretty much can get everything out. Again, I like to do the knuckle meat separate because you tend to get a lot of little, the membranes in between the claws that are a little tougher to see when you're cleaning it out. So you can go back through and pick through and make sure you don't have any crab shells at all in your meat.
Do you have any tricks for spotting the crab shells? Do you have any tricks for spotting the crab shells after the meat is picked?
Well, what we do, actually I brought it here, is we use a black light. And what we'll do is we'll go into a dark room and we'll lay all the crab meat out, and we use a black light. This cost me like $10 at Ace Hardware. And you can go back through it, and basically the crab shells have luminescence. So when you shine the black light on it, it'll show up very distinct as pearly white. So that way you can go back through and double check to make sure that you don't have any of the really soft membranes, which maybe you can't quite feel with your hands as you're going through the meat. And make sure that there's none in it. And then, what I like to do is first I'll kind of go through everything with my meat, with my hands, and if I don't feel anything, that'll be my first step. And then what I'll do after that is then I'll lay it out on a sheet tray. We'll use the black light to go back through it just to double check and to make sure that we don't have any of the filaments. This is kind of the type of stuff that you tend to be a little harder to find, because this is actually kind of soft. So when you go through it, it's a little harder to feel this with your hands and stuff. So this is where the black light will show stuff like this very significant. So it's really easy to go through and find it. Again, I like to do them separate. I just find it's a little easier when I go back through and clean it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to clean the crab legs and stuff. You know, I usually just like to break them into portions like this. We use the crackers, just kind of crack it. You want to be really delicate so you get that whole piece of meat in one shot. So we just kind of break it off like that. Again, I'll use the fork and kind of do that. So then you can pull it out and you get that nice big piece. So to me, this is the best part of the crab. Personally, this is what I like the most. And then this all has a pretty good amount of meat on it too. You know, this is what I was talking about before, where some people will actually use this part of the crab, and you can actually go in and you can kind of pull these pieces out too. And it's a nice, easy little part, or you can use your crab fork. You know, when I'm eating crab at home, this is what I use, just because it's the closest thing to me when I'm at home eating with my family and stuff. So, but all these parts have a pretty decent amount of crab, so we like to go through and, you know, just clean out absolutely everything we can, because when you get the bigger crabs, you actually get a pretty decent amount of meat out of these pieces. And to me, the leg meat's a little sweeter than the knuckle meat. So for me, I like that the best. So. And then what we'll do with the claw's a little different. And I'll still break it in the same parts like I did the one before. And then what I like to do is I like to take the leg part here, and this has got kind of a membrane. So I kind of broke it, I wiggled it a little bit, and I can pull it straight out. So this you won't get in your meat. And then I'll use the claws, the crackers, kind of break it again. Again, I'm very delicate with this, because I want to try to keep it as whole as possible. Okay. And then again, I'll use my fork. I'll go in, and I can pull out this whole piece. There's one. Kind of broke up a little bit, but basically that's the basic idea. I'll do another one here. Try to get again with the claw. Kind of break it. Wiggle it a little bit to get it loose, and then again you can pull this membrane out that's in the thing. These are crackers, a nice big crack on it. Sometimes you can even just wiggle it out and it'll come out whole, like that. You crack it, right? Some people use a mallet to crack it and stuff. That works the best. I like to use the crackers because you have a little less of the broken shells and stuff that are within the crab meat and stuff. And then again, this we'll go back through with the black light, but you can see if you get the bigger pieces, you tend to have a little less of the crab fragments and stuff, and that's why I like to do the knuckle meat separate than the claw and the leg meat, just because it makes it a little easier for me to do. So I can't stress enough the importance of picking your own crab meat. It is just a night and day difference between when you buy an already cooked, you know, clean crab meat, which they tend to brine. Tends to be a much saltier flavor, and you really don't get that delicate sweet flavor that you really do in the Dungeness crab. Enjoy.